Hey everybody, how you all doing? And I'm here with a bit of a last minute ranking. I don't know if this. I don't know if you heard the breaking news on Thursday. We lost a very pivotal, most iconic man in the world of not just pop culture but pro wrestling as well. The immortal Hulk Hogan passed away. Man, what a week! And like between him and a few other and Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know which death hits all of us more, but of course, again, like I know people are saying death happens in threes between him and and Michael Jamal Warner again. I get it, but here's the thing. Okay, no one can plan this. Again, it's just shit happens. Okay, it again, like, don't read too deep into it. But look, at this point, I just want to just say, let's just take a moment. I just want to take a moment and just give my ranking about Hulk Hogan. Now, of course, say what you want about him. I know some people have been coming out of the where half the internet's been saying good riddance, he's dead. But then there's the others that have been that's been more accepting and just trying to pay their respects. And of course, to those that aren't paying respects, I get it, okay. But here's the thing: it's hard to separate the man from the character. Okay. Hulk Hogan was a cornerstone of pop culture. He made pro wrestling mainstream. He and into pop and the crossover into entertainment with music and all this other stuff. Hello, the rock and wrestling era. But yeah, again, like I really don't care at this point. It's like someone if it's something that you grew up with or okay. Again, I don't care. Okay. What they said in the privacy of their home and their opinions and the fact that they came in to apologize, okay, take it or leave it, okay? Enough of my rant, but I'm just going to focus and just talk about my favorite moments, okay, or matches in this moment. And of course, I'm gonna admit this right now. Even though I was more of a Bret Hart guy, I've talked about him probably in the past. This is probably the first time in maybe several years I've ever did anything pro wrestling related. Well, not counting prediction videos. I'm talking like anything like ranking videos or like pay-per-view reviews or something like that. That's the first time in years. But this is the first time I'm talking about a guy that kind of laid the groundwork. But like I said, I was more of a Bret Hart guy, and of course I probably put out ranking videos of my favorite War Games matches, my favorite ladder matches, my favorite WWE matches, my favorite non-WWE matches. And of course, my plan was to do a ranking video of my favorite Ring of Honor matches. I might have done that. I don't know. My mind's a little foggy. I'm getting old, guys. I'm sorry, but anyway. So my pool of Hogan matches is kind of small, but there's going to be a shit ton of honorable mentions. But here I'm going to give you guys my 5 top matches. But right as I mentioned, there's a bunch of honorable mentions. There's a few matches that I have seen on more than one occasion. But they're not my favorites because I felt like the ones that I watch more, that they bring more better to me, and those are the ones that I remember more than others. But when it comes to honorable mentions, I'm probably gonna get hate for this one. His match against WrestleMania 5 against Randy Savage and Mega Powers Implode. But I mean, that was a great story that was brewing for like literally a year, and of course the fact that this took place in Atlantic City. It was the second Atlantic City on WrestleMania. The first was WrestleMania 4. That was the one-night tournament. Of course, held at the famous Trump Plaza, which of course is now the Hard Rock Cafe and Casino kind of thing. So, yeah, like hard to believe, now that both this match, the main eventers of some of these early main events are gone. It's hard to say, but the fact that this was one of them was a pretty cool one. Of course, also has a soft spot for Randy Savage as well. Ooh yeah, another good one. His match against Harley Race on Saturday night's main event. It's an interesting match because this was like, here's Harley Race, a guy from the NWA. Also a big guy from the 70s taking on a guy that was of the 80s. And of course, this match was a good match, but was also famous for the wrong reason. This was the famous match where Harley Race in a table spot almost ruptured his intestine. or something like that. I'm trying to remember what happened on the dark side of the ring which required him actual surgery, and he ended up having a scar on his stomach. So yeah, in case you did not know that. Another match I also liked was his match against Vader at Bash at the Beach '95. For more of a historical purpose, is that this match was filmed for Baywatch, but the actual match itself was even though it wasn't a technical masterpiece, but it was just an insane moment and a match. It's like Hogan trying to fight a bull in a cage. It was insane. And then of course you throw in the outside players of Flair and the Horsemen and all these other people, and you get the recipe for a chaotic main event. And then, of course, another match would be his match against another Saturday Night's main event match would be him against Mr. Perfect. And of course, this is more of like one of those. Okay. Mr. Perfect's like a terrific performer. He'll make anyone look good. And sure enough, he made Hogan look like $1 million. He was like every hit he took, he sold it like he got shot with a gun or something like that. But not too overselling to the point like what Shawn Michaels did to him at SummerSlam in '05. Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm not even giving that on mention. That match fucking sucked. Just saying. But yeah, and so yeah, those are just some honorable mentions. But now let's get into my top 5. Okay, so coming at the number 5 spot will be him against Sergeant Slaughter from WrestleMania 7. Now, yeah, I know what you're thinking. Really, this one? Well, think about this. You had two of the most patriotic characters. Well, kind of, but also this was also in the midst of a very controversial and pivotal moment in the world, which was which of course, obviously, we were in the final days of the Gulf War, and obviously, turning Sergeant Slaughter heel was a way to get heat, and it kind of went over well, but I think it got a little too extreme, which we all know what happened. But the fact that you had two most patriotic guys and guys that knew each other, you got the recipe for a classic main event. And even though it got a little bloody in the end, and of course, and of course the fact that Sergeant Slaughter's gone on record and said this is one of his favorite matches, and I can agree. It's a good main event match, despite the long run time and despite everything that happened. It's still a fantastic and iconic piece of Hulkamania history and Hulkamania and WrestleMania history. You know, just again, it's the patriotness. I can't speak anymore. It's so late, but you get my point. Coming in at number 4, this is going to be a very rare hidden gem. If you've never heard about this match, I encourage it. This was a tag match. It was him and Tenryu, or Genshiro Tenryu, if that name's any bell, taking on the Legion of Doom. I actually saw this match. This was on the Road Warriors set. And of course, I know what you're thinking. Really? This match? I'm like, even though the match ends in a shit countout and finish, but the fact that you had two interesting teams. You had, in fact, this is a Road Warriors match, and usually Road Warriors matches are a little one-dimensional at times, depending on who you put them in the ring with, like where it's the Midnight Express or the Fabulous Freebirds or something like that. But if you take them to Japan and put them in the ring with Hogan and Tenryu, you might get something special because again, like, Hogan kind of tends to shine when he's not limited by what he can do, by what WWE wants him to do. But here, like, things got insane. There's some really hard hits. There's some moments that, like, oh, now he's gonna mix things up with Hawk. Now he's gonna mix things up with Animal. Like again, you would never expect a match to go the way it would be. And if you've never seen this match, give it a watch. If you have the Road Warriors CD, you know which match I'm talking about. I mean, it's not a technical classic, but it's just an interesting match nonetheless. And it's a good one. I kind of find myself feeling like, that's kind of like the Japanese style. It's like, Japanese style promoting. It's like, hey, you get a cool one of the hottest tag teams in the business. You get Hogan, and you get a Japanese veteran at the time who was still hot, and eventually Tenryu would eventually come over to America, and that's a whole other piece of wrestling history as well, and WWE history. So yeah, go find that match. It's a good one. Coming at number 3 is another tag match. This one is him and Rodman versus DDP and Karl Malone from Bash Beach '98. This one, again, it's not a technical sounding match, but it is. But this match just told an amazing story. Despite despite the limited work rate with Malone and Dennis Rodman, DP and Hogan were able to make something out of this whole match. And the fact that this was one of DP's ideas to bring in basketball stars, or Karl Malone or Dennis Rodman, it definitely worked. So you can credit DP with pulling something like this, and it did catch right in the ball. It was a real fun, exciting time in WCW. Even though, again, going back to not technical masterpiece, nonetheless. But it really brought kind of blurred the line between kayfabe and reality, because again, you had Malone and Rodman, who were actually on two opposite teams, and those two teams actually end up in the NBA Finals that year, which is pretty funny karma considering the outcome of the match and the outcome of the NBA Finals that year. So again, if you've never seen that match or never seen that Bash Beach, Joe, give it a watch. Okay, I know some people would probably hate me on that, but it's a fun match. Hogan and Rodman really clicked, especially with everything that going against them. But yeah, give it a watch. Coming at number 2, him versus Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. Come on. What is there to say about this one? This is the biggest fame heard around the world. The match that really cemented him into pop culture status and into the annals of history. Come on, how many times have you ever seen anyone just slam a giant? Well, nowadays it's commonplace, but back then no one could slam a giant. Not even Andre the Giant, who believe it or not, slammed him on camera or in front of a big crowd, except for the Body Slam Challenge, or I think I'm going off script, but you get my point. But up to that point, no one can ever do that, and the fact that it really shows Hogan, again, it's a moment. It's not again. If history were different, and Andre was much more healthier, I think they would have had a much better match. If you ever go back into the history of the match, or with the details surrounding, their match was supposed to go a little longer, but again, this was around the time Andre was. You can tell he was starting to get up there. He was in a shit ton of pain. He wasn't he wasn't performing as best. In fact, legend has he had a back brace on under his singlet in this match, and of course, but Andre and Hogan worked together. They said, "Hey, this is it. You're gonna slam me. I want you to slam me. This will put you over." And the rest, as they say, is history. And then, of course, coming in at number 1. Him versus The Rock, Icon versus Icon, WrestleMania 18. Holy shit. The match that I stayed up late for, saw this, then went to bed, and then realized, wait, this is not the main event? This match should have gone last. And me, along with Chris Jericho and Triple H, will all agree, this match should have gone last because I was burned out after that. But still, this match was just memorable for all the right reasons. Hogan was cheered that night. The Rock was booed. Again, Canada sure is bizarro world, but man, what they had to work for, the story that they built up, you got an all-time classic, a passing of the torch between two generations, from the Federation years to the Attitude Era. Well, the end of the Attitude Era, because again, this match was in 2002. This was that really pivotal year. But again, more on that. That's another story. But all those factors, again, the passing of the torch just created a much bigger star in The Rock, and you saw where he goes. But yeah, to this day, I always look at that and just say, man, this really is one of the greatest WrestleMania matches, and a lot of people will probably agree with me. It really is. Given everybody's what everybody could agree on, and they called an audible in the ring, and they just made magic that night in Toronto. And man, again, what is there about moments in Canada that make you just say, what the shit? The shit is up there. What is in the war up there that make fans just go, no, we want to see this happen, and yeah. Not much else I can say. I'm a little tired, but yeah, those are my favorite matches and moments. If you guys want to let me know what you think about that, or if you want to tell me your favorite Hulk Hogan matches, your Hogan memories, let me know. Okay, this has been a long video. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. So with that thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting content.